Fallow deer are one of the most requested great ones in all of the Hunter Call of the Wild, and we are going to be hunting them today and talking about what I think a fallow deer great one would be like. Expansive Worlds has always kind of had a thing where they wanted to give as many of the species on the base maps a great one before moving on to other species that are not on the two base game maps, Hirschfelden and Layton Lakes. And as you could probably imagine, with there being very limited species on those two maps that don't have great ones anymore, there is only a few left that people have really been requesting that are on those maps, and at some point they are going to have to start moving on to other species that are not on the base game maps. Well, I do think that there is a few species that are going to be added as great ones before they move on from those base game maps, and I definitely think the fallow deer needs to be one of the next great ones. In fact, it needs to be either the next one or the one after, or else I'm going to lose faith that we will ever get one, as they have been very highly requested and are going to be quite an incredible thing to add. As the fallow deer are definitely one of the more hunted species on Hirschfelden, and they are a very popular species amongst the community on maps like Tiabaroa, which is where we are currently. Now you guys may be curious what that would end up looking like if they did have a great one fallow deer, and believe it or not, these antlers right here may look pretty big, but they get a whole lot bigger in real life. This right here is about 1 or 2 racks below the diamonds in Call of the Wild, and in real life, they get a lot larger than this right here. Before we show some images of what I think a great one fallow deer could look like, if you are brand new to the channel and you've enjoyed this video so far, and you find value in the content that I create and the work that goes into it, be sure to subscribe to the channel, as it really is a massive help, and it'll make it so you guys will more likely see my content, and if you enjoy it, you might as well at this point. It's completely free, and it does drastically help out the performance of these videos, and also will help you guys out in the long run with more helpful information and tutorials and crazy trophies and different methods of getting those trophies. Something that you will notice about a lot of these images that we're showing now of these fallow deer, these aren't even really as big as they can get. There is farm deer that do get much bigger and get some crazy non-typical antlers. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any stock images of those, and I try to just keep it to stock images to hopefully avoid copyright and stuff like that when doing these types of videos. But these are some of the biggest racks that I could find throughout these images, and honestly, they are pretty ridiculously impressive, especially compared to a lot of the stuff that we have in Call of the Wild currently for the fallow deer. And there's a couple of these that have just such an absurd amount of width and size to their antlers that I really didn't even know was possible in the wild for fallow deer. And it really does just open up a very high possibility of a great one fallow deer looking really good in the Hunter Call of the Wild, as there's a lot of good options they could go with in terms of how to make the racks look. They could also end up doing some unique fur types, and I think that is honestly something they have to do from now on, since they've done it with the bear and they've done it with the moose as well. At this point, we need special fur types, and I think one that I would love to see, I've talked about this before, but I would love to see a fabled leucistic get added to the game. I think fabled leucistic would be a really cool fur type for a fallow deer. I also do think that they should do something kind of a bit more, I guess, mythical-esque, something that's not quite as realistic, very similar to what they've done with the moose furs. I think it would be really cool to get a type of a two-tone variation for the fallow deer. I do think that would actually look really cool, but maybe do it a little bit differently. Maybe make it fade from its back down to its belly, and it'll get just a little bit lighter as it goes down. I think that would be really cool. It could be maybe a different form of melanistic, where it's not completely melanistic, but it's partially melanistic. I think there's a lot of cool things that could happen with fur types for fallow deer. And as always, I gotta talk about how I would love to see something like velvet or possibly barbed wire on the antlers of the great one fallow deer. I think it is quite possible that a fallow deer could get their antlers stuck in some wire fencing. It happens to whitetail, mule deer, blacktail, etc. throughout the US, and I'm sure it could happen to fallow deer as well. And velvet is one of those things that so many people have requested over the years, and we've never got it, so It would be nice if they would add it one of these days, and I definitely think that this would be a great opportunity to do so, as fallow deer in the velvet actually look really good. If I remember to, I'll put an image up of that right now, because velvet fallow deer are actually probably some of the better looking deer in velvet that I've seen. There's a lot of deer that do look good with velvet, but there's just something about the way these fallow deer look when they have the velvet covering their antlers. But enough of what I think the Great One Fallow should look like. What would you guys like to see in a Great One Fallow deer? Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think would be the coolest fur types that they could potentially add, and a little explanation of what you think that fur type should look like. Also, let me know if you would like to see a giant typical fallow deer, or if you would prefer to see a giant farm deer that's a massive non-typical, tines going everywhere. What would you like to see for the Great One Fallow deer? Let me know down below, and I guess the most interesting answer that I see, you guys will get a free DLC, or I guess if you're on PlayStation or Xbox, a free gift code for a little bit of money to purchase a DLC on Call of the Wild. Every once in a while, I like to do these little giveaways for those of you that are subscribed to the channel, so I tend to not announce them in the title and just kind of insert it somewhere a little bit further into the video, so that those of you that watch the channel a lot and enjoy this content thoroughly can get a chance to win some cool stuff. Well, let's go ahead and take down this fallow buck right here. That is a pretty decent looking level 4, so gotta get it on the ground. There is our beautiful level 4 fallow deer. Look at that absolute beauty. You know what's crazy? This is about what the old diamonds ended up looking like when they had the legacy antlers. And now that they've got Truex, this is actually not even close to being diamond, but back then this was about as big as they got, so it's quite crazy to see the difference. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a comment, like I said, and let me know what you think a Great One Fallow would look like, and let me know what you think it should look like, and whether or not you want it to be a typical, a non-typical, the fur types you want to see. And like I said, I will pick a winner with the most, I guess, interesting and unique comment that I see, and you will end up winning either a gift card for your platform or a Call of the Wild DLC. I guess it'll really be up to you. We'll leave it up to the winner just for versatility's sake, as in the past, like, some of the giveaways I've done have been just for, like, a PC DLC, and that really limits the amount of people that can get it, as you would have to be on the Steam platform, and not all DLCs are available as a key, so we're probably just going to do, like, Steam codes, PlayStation codes, and Xbox codes from now on. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!